Well, hello and good evening there, and welcome to issue number 39. And in this issue, we're going to concentrate on the Cancerian goats. And as you can see from the caption prior to the video, that's the date you have to be a cancer goat. Okay, let's start straight away with the cancer goat as a child. As a child, you've got a very sensitive and a very dreamy child here, and very passive. At school, they're not ones for confrontation at all, and to see whether they're happy or they're happy at school or in their home environment, the simple test and the simple key here is if they are dreamy, that means they're in a happy state. If they're coming up with these wild theories and about absolutely anything, about science fiction or about how things are made, they'll be very interested in that sort of thing from a very young age. You know, how does the engine work, and etc., and things like this. And if they're thinking of new ways to make that engine work better, how about if this happened, Mum? How about if this happened, Dad? You know, that's when they're happy, and they'll be dreaming up all these sort of schemes and ideas, and that's when they're truly in their element, when they're allowed to be creative. Not particularly vocal in a group, they will just passively go along, but they really come into their own when there are sort of open sort of areas for creativity, giving each child maybe a choice to make. Okay, let's see how you'd make a rocket. What would you use? What would you choose? And they would be exceptionally good at this in an inventive sort of way. When they're unhappy, they can be prone to getting a little bit bullied, even though they can be tenacious in some ways and dig their heels in. Because of their passiveness, they can be targeted a little bit for bullies. So you have to keep an eye on that. And if they're not being dreamy, they're not being creative, then they've got a problem, because every Cancerian goat is this, and if they are a little bit, a little bit in a pragmatic sense, they're naturally quite quiet. But even if they're not coming up with these schemes or anything, that's when there may be a problem. There may be a child or a teacher they're not particularly getting on very well with at all. So there's little key issues there to look out for, because, as I say, they're not particularly vocal child, so they probably wouldn't say that, and their psyche gets a little bit affected, slightly different to others. And it is an inward motion, and once the dreams stop, or once the innovative ideas stop, then that's when, as I say, they're not at their best, and they need to be at their best. And because when they are, they come out with some fascinating ideas and some really sort of innovative ideas, and these people would be fantastic for eco systems of the future, very forerunners in using cardboard for insulation and different things, and just innovative ideas to build properties, or they should be kept happy. And as I say, if they're having a very fulfilled life all the way up into their teenage years, and let's hope they are, and they get to university, these people are like gold dust in these sort of innovative ways, these new ways. And the great thing with the goats and the cancer is they're quietly, as I say, quietly tenacious, and they will see a project through. They may come up with something and people think that's a crazy idea, but they'll see it through. They can take a long time on doing this, and they can have some barren years where they may not be in the money, particularly because they are trying to perfect something, but stick with them, because 99 times out of 100 they will come up with something very ingenious, and people say, wow, it's simplistic, but it's working here. We can use cardboard for the walls. We can insulate through other resources, and they are eco warriors in effect, in that sense. So we've gone through the university years. Yes, the goat has a penchant for maybe being a little bit promiscuous, so they may enjoy, they may very much enjoy their university years and their early work years. As I say, this might be a bit of a barren spell, and they are not immune to running up quite a few debts in this spell, which, hey, I know a lot of students do, but you know, they will seek their comforts, they will seek to buy the best equipment, but they will work hard in their own way, working a lot better, you know, working a lot better in a smaller group or sometimes on their own, but they like the best equipment, they like, you know, to be given a long time for an assessment, and, you know, if they have a boss, you know, guard these people, not particularly good with timescales set upon them, you know, so let them work it out themselves. They will work hard, it's not that they're slacking off, but they're not ones ready for timekeeping or timescales. They like to do it their way, and try different things on the way, so they're not a deadliner, and let's say they're quite sensitive, so if you're barking at them, you really won't get any benefit from that, because, as I say, they do tend to sort of go a bit inward, and you don't see the best of them. So hopefully, you know, they've got that little bit of promiscuity out of their system. The Cancerian can be prone to it ever so slightly as well, because there's a little bit of a lack of confidence with them, so they need affirmation of that they are appealing to somebody, you know, and so they need that affirmation quite often, not having the normal confidence in that sort of area. So, you know, we get over that spell. Let's get them into their later 20s, early 30s, which is prime time and a good time for them to settle down, I feel. Maybe 27 onwards is a very good time. They make a good parent, they make a very protective parent, and a solid one, you know, not one that's going to shout at their children, and not one that's going to be too strict, but nicely protective, and as I say, and they've got past them years of maybe lesser earnings, they've got themselves established, and they can support a family. You know, goats, if they're going to familyhood quite young, do have trouble supporting them. Either sex is there, because, you know, their dreams might not match up with, you know, what they had in mind, so we have to get them through this stage, and let's get them at 27, 28, 29, that area. Perfect. They would be established, knowing what they want to do, what they're going to, as I say, their stamp on life. They know what they're going to achieve, or what they want to achieve, and that's a perfect time for them to start a family. As I say, you know, occasionally if they've done this too young, starting a family, they can sort of disappoint their partner quite quickly, and that's what we don't want. So let's look at their best matches. Well, we need a pig really for the goat, that fantastic strength of the pig and the quiet nourishment of the pig. They don't mind having hardships together. The pig will be very loyal, will accept the goat's dreams and back them in a nice comforted way, and plus the pig can go out there and do some hours and help them through that tough time, so that's a great union. So if we look for the Scorpio pig, the Piscean pig, Taurus pig and the Virgo pig, they're all fantastic matches here. And also let's go to the rabbit family. Now the rabbit family, as we know, excellent with money, so when them little lean spells may come here and there, the rabbit's always got that bit tucked away to help the goat out, and help them out as a team, and they do make, as I say, very good parents, very nourishing and strong parents there, and it's a good union. So if we stick with, as the ones before, if we stick with the Scorpio, the Scorpio rabbit, we stick with the Pisces rabbit, the Taurian and the Virgo rabbit, they're all excellent matches as well. If we look at the no-nos, well, the oxen, because the oxen, although quiet in its own and a quiet and strong animal, and it does take its little bit of time, it expects deadlines and it expects regimentation to quite a big degree, which the goat they just won't marry up. You know, they both feel let down. The goat will feel it's been you know, restricted, maybe even a little bit claustrophobic, and feel too pressured, whereas the ox feels that the goat doesn't really give a damn, because, you know, they're a bit lackadaisical, they're sort of doing it in their own thing, and then the ox gets hurt there thinking, well, hold on a minute, you know, we've got to do this as a team. So that's a no-no. If we look at the health issues for the Cancerian goat, this comes when they may be a little bit stifled, or they felt stifled. They can have intestine trouble, digestive trouble, so they have to be quite careful on what they're eating. And I like the Cancerian goats to stick mainly to a vegetable diet there. Yes, they can have their meats, but limited a bit, especially red meats, because they do have severe stomach cramps, etc., which can get more serious, and that is definitely a weak spot for this combination. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you're the Cancer goat, I wish you all the best and very good luck out there. Until the next time, thank you.